Hi everyone, studio lights are out again because it is actually 4:15 now, so it's getting slowly darker and darker outside, so that's why the lighting is slightly different. It was a lovely day today and I could have actually filmed with the natural daylight. However, I had to deal with a certain issue, which you might have watched the video on Friday. So that took quite a bit of time to resolve, but I'm so happy I have come to the bottom of it and resolved it. So it's about pigments, in case you're wondering what on earth am I talking about. So today let's have a little bit of fun. It's one of those days where I feel there has been quite a bit of negative energy for 2 days in terms of me trying to sort something out with a company, and there have been a few issues, and so I see that as negative energy, which I feel very uncomfortable with. And what makes me feel better is do some art, and this is what I want to do today, even though I could actually just relax now and take some time off, but I feel good when I do this. So if you had a bad day, or something happened, I hope you will kind of join in with the positive flow of energy here. All right, so today I want to show you how to create these overlaid type of illustrations. And so I'm going to use my actually didn't prepare anything for this video, I just started rolling the camera. So I'm going to use both of the clear stamp sets, the florals and the FOTD, face of the day. Today I'm going to show you how to create the shape of the face, but not so much kind of finishing the look of it, but I want to concentrate on showing you how I layer florals, over the face. And there are two options. So you can create something where the florals are in the foreground, and there is an option to create something where the florals are in the background. So today I am going to show you how to create florals with being in the foreground. So if you see here, I have done these very quickly, and I wanted to show you basically, if you don't think about what I'm going to share with you today, you end up with these lines which are overlaid, because I used black ink, but there is a trick to it to avoid this, and so that you would only see the beautiful flower layered on top of the face, and you would not see this black ink line. And the same goes for all of them. So you can see the black line here as well. It just looks weird. It looks like the flower petal is completely transparent, but then you just see that line, and I don't know, I mean, if you like it, you can leave it, but it would look so much better if there wasn't, if this line kind of overlapping wasn't there. And I left it like this because I wanted to show you what happens if you just take black ink and just stamp. You can still create something pretty, but there is something you can do to even make it prettier. So enough with the talking, let's start. I always leave as many links below as I can, and this one is the MD Midori, the MD Cotton Notebook by Midori, and I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. I'm also leaving a link for this cover. It's like a plasticky cover which you can use inside here. You can keep things like maybe some ephemera, or maybe some stickers, or whatever you want. So you can do that. And look at that. I am pretty much, can you see? It's not focusing. I'm pretty much in the middle of it. And I love how the pages are filling up. They feel so good. So I really love it. And it's great for ink. It's great for a little bit of watercolor, which is the style that I love. So obviously you don't want to use too much watercolor on this paper. It's not designed for that, but it's absolutely fine to use a little bit. So what I'm going to do is actually, as always, I like to use the Illustrated Faith. Have I mentioned all links are below? I think so. I know I started saying it, but I don't know whether I finished saying it. So the Bible mat goes underneath, and that prevents the page underneath have any indentation because it's a very thin paper. And if you're working with thin paper, sometimes when you're pressing hard with a pencil or a pen, you can create indentation on the next page, and that kind of will have that. I mean, if you're not bothered, that's absolutely fine, but I do pay attention to detail. Okay, so let's start by just very easily creating a face. I'm just gonna... Alright, so I had to get a few of my ink, acrylic blocks and all of that. So I like to use different sizes for the stamps simply because I find it more easy. I mean, you could use the same acrylic block for smaller elements as well as the larger ones, but here we go straight. How do you like my new desk, by the way? It only cost me like 8 quid. It's actually a roll of wallpaper, and it has a bit of texture there. And hi Irit, if you're watching, I will link down below because actually it's pretty good. I mean, it's covering the width of my table. Would that be the width? Like that way, and it's only like this much that is not covering, which is okay by me because I have a whole arrangement of all sorts of art supplies there. Maybe one day I will show you, but this is nice and clean here, and then it just goes wild over there, which you can't see. I mean, it's wildly organized, but still a lot going on there. And then I just roll it out, and it covers the entire length of the desk. And basically the plan is, when it's going to get too dirty, I just throw it out and then, use the next rollout of the wallpaper. So I kind of like it. I don't know. I like the feeling of it. So, all right, where was I? Now back to the face. I feel very chatty today for some reason. Okay, so back to the face, which is going to very easily stamp the face shape. Now, here is what you need to do, and this is quite important for what we're going to create. Right, totally unprepared today, so I have to move the camera again. There's a drawer on the left that I had to get everything from. So anyways, Distress ink in Tattered Rose. Now, if you have other inks, I personally, let's see, what else do I have? I have kind of like this type of ink, which is Peach Perfect. It's actually, I think, yeah, I called my watercolor. For a second I was debating, did I call it Peach Perfect or Perfect Peach? I called my watercolor Perfect Peach. How funny that this is called Peach Perfect. Anyway, I'm talking about this color here, of course. My Perfect Peach, this one. By the way, have you noticed that they're actually scented? I didn't say anything about it, but they are scented, and it kind of smells of Christmas to me. I didn't intend it to smell like that, but it. I used 2 blends of scents in there, and one comes through more than the other, but it's. I like the smell. Let me know what you think of the scent of it. So, where was I? Now, you can use maybe other kind of nude or flesh toned inks. I haven't actually tried these, so I can't recommend, but I do love this one, Tattered Rose. I mean, Tim Holtz all over the place. He just is so fantastic, and I love his products, and few of them are complete and utter must-haves. So we'll leave the links below. But here is the trick. So you do need a nude colored, flesh colored, very pastel colored ink, and you will see why in a minute. So we're going to do the face here. I'm going to go straight into flowers, and I'm not going to do anything here with the face itself. Just imagine, you can do all sorts of different face looks, but what I'm going to do now is show you what you can create. So I actually quite like this girl here. So I'm going to go ahead and recreate something similar. So I'm going to take this and actually a different size, maybe this one as well. Yeah, I think that should be enough for now. Maybe should I go for the big one? Okay, I'll go for the big one as well. So sometimes I find it easier to just pick the stamps that you are intending to use. And now I am going to go for the same ink. And like I said, if you would do this with black ink, what would happen is that they would overlap. But no matter how much watercolor you would put on top of it later on, you still would see the line. But with this, it's not as visible, so you can do exactly the same thing and then see what happens. So for the next portion, we will need maybe, yeah, I'll use the, so I created a few masks over here. There should be a video, have a look, on Friday that I would have published. I'm talking like it's future, but or past, but it's in fact Friday today. So I'm trying to think what to say to you so that it makes sense, because this video is coming out on Monday. Okay, so I'm going in with the next flower and just building it nicely up. So we're going to go in and overlap them as much as you want. You don't have to overlap it, you can overlap it, just, you know, play around and see what you like or don't like. So I'm going to do a couple of them here and then take the mask off. I will just use one large flower and then a couple of these small ones will do nicely. I mean, I'm not overlapping here too much, but I could still do that and it will look great. So let's see, I'm just going to use this little one. I find that the little flowers are very cute to fill. Actually, I'm going to go size down. This is the smallest one from the 3-leaf or 3-petal flowers. And this one I'm just going to sprinkle around. I love using this little flower as a little filler here and there, and it doesn't have to overlap at all. And I'm just kind of looking where I want to build up on sort of volume, or where I want it to be the highest point, where I need to put a bit more, a bit less, and that is it. So at the minute, you can see that the images are overlapping. Shall I use the leaves? Let's see. I could use the leaves. So today, actually, I'm thinking of using them, like putting the ink from this bit rather than this bit. So you can do that as well. What you need for that is just basically place it that way, and then don't put ink on this part here. So I'll show you. When you're putting the ink on top of these clear stamps, just touch it, like that, and then let's say that would be enough. So you can see they're overlapping slightly here, which is not a big deal. It's not a problem. I think couple them here. Make sure, if you're not sure whether you have put the ink there or not, just wipe it off like that. And there you go. And maybe a couple here, or is that too much? Actually, I like it like that, so I'm going to leave it. Okay. This is the beauty of these stamp sets that I designed, that you can really build your own and have so much fun with it. Like when it's a rainy or a cold day and I'm not feeling great, or you know, whatever, then I just love to, actually I realized I stopped painting, or not painting, I stopped drawing since I designed these. I have been playing with them so much and having so much fun, because I am still drawing on top of them, which is what I'm going to show you now, but I kind of don't feel the need to just start drawing on a blank page of paper. So anyways, so now this is where I'm going to show you what to do. So what we're going to do now is start with the face. This is the best thing to do, to not be confused in any way, is to start with the face. And I'm going to use waterproof ink and a very fine nibbed fountain pen. So again, everything is linked down below if you're interested. And I'm going to see where I have like gaps. So I had a little gap there, and this is where I filled it in. Now the rest, I'm going to start with the large flower, which I've done first. So I'm going to ignore this face line that runs there to connect it, and I'm just going to line out these beautiful petals. So this is the big hydrangea flower, which I have traced from my art journal. Now there's a little, or the smaller 3-leaf hydrangea here as well, and it's hiding slightly behind, so it's overlapping. Now I'm just lining that part, and then we have of course this little cute baby flower, which I'm gonna do like that. And then let's just continue. So you look at what you have and do one flower by one, and that's the way to do this, so that you don't get confused of what's going on, what you want to layer over, what you want to slide underneath, so to speak. So that's that. And then we're going to do this one, ignore the face line, and just look at the petals, where it kind of looks like it's sort of hiding or going underneath another flower. Then just let it be. Just don't draw the line all the way down. Just stop where you need to stop. And then we're going to do this. Again, I'm ignoring these leaves. I'll show you a close-up in a second. So the line here, so this is what we have right now. So I have ignored the line that's actually overlapping the petal here, and I'm going to start right on the edge. So like that. Now again, don't worry if you don't follow the exact shape. That is not going to look bad, because you have used a very light colored ink. All of this you can correct. Now here you can see I have not stamped the line, so what I'm going to do is just connect it. So I'm going to connect that and draw a little part of the line, so that the leaf doesn't look like it's hovering in the air. And that is it for the lining out. Now at this point you should use some watercolor. Also, if you want to do any doodling, this is the time to do your doodling. And I'm just going to create a little line here. I left these leaves without any line or detail because I wanted you to be able to do your own thing and have fun with it. So this is our little bohemian floral crown, and it just looks so gorgeous. Now I am going to grab my watercolors, and I'm not going to use my own set this time because I want to, actually I could do, why not? It's just I feel like I'm constantly using my own watercolors, but alright, I'll do it anyway. I just love them, so why not? So in terms of the brush, many people have asked, and I recommend this one purely because that's what I use. I find it really, really convenient for the size that I'm working on. So this is the Silver Black Velvet Round 4, and I think for those of you who are American or from US, you will find it not as expensive as us here in UK. I think it costs us a little bit more to purchase. Okay, so I'm just going to drop a little drop of water. Really don't have to do this with these watercolors because they're super creamy, but I just like doing it so that I don't have too much of the, how should I say, for the dry pigment. So now I'm going to actually mix up the colors. I haven't shown you how I do that. So I'm just gonna take the orange over here, and then I'm going to add a little bit of pink to it, and then you get, of course, a beautiful milky orange. So this is a transparent watercolor, and this is kind of like a semi-transparent. You can build it up to very opaque, or you could really water it out to a beautiful transparent color. So this is very pretty. Of course, combining the two, the transparent and semi-transparent, is going to give us a different look. So here's what I'm doing. I'm just watercoloring these petals. And you'll see in a minute that these ink lines underneath are just disappearing. So sometimes you have to work around it because, you know, like here, for example, I would make sure that I don't leave a highlight when there is this ink line. But other than that, you can totally work with it. So it's a beautiful apricot color. I can go in more with the orange this time. So you see, if you don't have water in there, it just feels a little bit, how should I say, like I'm loading too much pigment on there. So I'm going to just go in with the orange on its own and just dab it in a few places. So that's one flower. Next flower I'm going to do just in this peach. I'm just going to mix a little bit in of what's already there. Again, same thing, wherever there is a bit of that line, just try to kind of hide it underneath the watercolor. With the black ink, if you stamped it with black ink, you wouldn't be able to do that because, like I showed you, you still can see the black line. So that's that. And then we're gonna, let's see, I feel like a bit of pink now just on its own. These colors, or these watercolors, are filled with pigment, so they do like a lot of water. Because otherwise it'll be just too much pigment there. Okay, so there we go, the pink here, and I'm going to go do the pink over here as well. Sometimes I like to touch a couple of petals so that they move, the watercolor flows into the watercolor on the other flower, and it looks really pretty. And it depends whether you want to keep the detail, so you then can just lift some of the color from some of these flowers. And then the pink, I think I will add a little bit of the pink over here as well. So just a little, very light. And then I will go just with orange. Actually, with a touch of red into the orange. I want it to be a more brighter orange, like a reddish orange. And I'm going to Look at this color, isn't it gorgeous? This color here, I'm keeping the secret of the ingredients. Obviously, you know, you as a handmade color maker, you would never want to share your recipes, but I'm pretty proud of it because it's got a lot of pigment in there and very high quality, so you can do a lot of fun stuff with it. Okay, gorgeous. So by mixing the orange and the red, we got this beautiful reddish orange. Right, so the next thing would be the leaves, and actually in this case I quite like it to be let's do it peach, very light peach with a tiny bit of pink. There we go. So I'm keeping it all kind of within the same color family. It looks really lovely. And then what you can do is just dab in a little bit of color just at the bottom here. And while some of the leaves are still dry, you can do the same here. Just dab a little bit of color here and there. And it kind of looks pretty. Because it's watercolor, you want to play with it. You don't want to just keep one color, two colors. You know, you want to mix them together as well. So now I'm going to go ahead, dry these and show you a close-up, and you'll see how different it will look to this. Okay, let's see. So here we go. And I mean, you can still very faintly see the line, like, you know, it's running here, but it is tone and tone, and so it's just not, I mean, to me, I'm absolutely fine with that. You know, it's not too much in my face. And this one, for example, you know, with no amount of watercolor, and no matter how opaque the watercolor could be that you would use, you would still see the line, and it doesn't look you know, perfectly or professionally finished. I don't know what's the right word to use here, but I think this just looks a lot neater. And again, by using a certain color scheme, it looks very much autumnal. I didn't realize actually that this doubles as a very nice autumnal palette as well. So I am starting very soon actually. I'm waiting for all the pigments to arrive because I'm using pigments from a few different brands for this set, and I am so excited to be making more of them because of how many of you came through and came forward rather, and said that you'd love a palette as well. So the demand has been pretty high, and thank you so much. So for those of you who are still waiting for it, this is what you can create. And here I wanted to show the sheen of it. I'm just still trying to figure out what's the best way. Is it maybe if I tilt forward, could you see the sheen better that way? There we go. I think you can now. It's so pretty. Oh, here we go. You can see the sheen now. Yeah. Okay, I'm happy. I've been so desperate to try find the right angle of showing you the little luminosity of the watercolor set. Okay, so that is it, and then you can obviously go ahead and create the rest of the face, but I wanted to show you a nice little way of creating a floral crown and having it sit on the foreground and have the face pushed into the background. You can also, or we can also look at next time this type of a, where is it now? This crown, where you can go right to the back of it, and then you could, what you can have is you can have a fringe as well as a floral crown. So in this case here, you don't need a fringe because it's all kind of covering the forehead. So you can do different styles, and I will show you how to do this one. So thank you for watching, and I'm hoping you're having a lovely day or evening, depending from where you're watching. And keep warm, keep safe, and see you soon.